the formidable robot.
During 2003, multiple people would apply to work at Nickelodeon Studios. Among these people, one individual would stick out from the rest. His name was Armand Raphael Ramsey. Armand joined Nickelodeon during fall of that same year. His reasons for applying was that he was inspired by the several Nicktoons created at the time, and his dream growing up was that he wanted to be an animator in the industry. Not only was Armand an aspiring animator, but he was a family man. He spent as much time with his family as he could, being a great husband and a loving father. He even owned a photo of his family at his workplace, making it one of the reasons he referred to his job as his home away from home. But alas, that all changed as the years went on. As the 2000s went on, the light Armand once had began to fizzle out, and the people who once described him as caring, funny and smart would notice changes in his personality. He would become easily frustrated and sometimes mutter under his breath, and eventually everyone else would begin to understand how he felt. Nickelodeon would go from a beloved animation studio to what some described as a glorified sweatshop. Employees would be overworked, underpaid, and were silenced when trying to stand up for themselves. Armand was no different, as he and several employees would be forced to reduce scenes over and over to the point where all-nighters became mandatory. It even got to where Armand had been in his workplace for 2 days straight without a wink of sleep. He barely had any time to see his family as often as he wanted, and when he was with them, he would often feel ashamed of himself for not being able to take care of them or even see them grow up. Eventually, Armand would begin to talk with his fellow co-workers during lunch breaks, ranging from discussions about mental health to how they felt about their jobs and financial situations. He eventually assembled a small friend group whom he had small meetings with on the chance that Nick would let them clock out at a reasonable time. During these meetings, they constantly talked about how they could have Nickelodeon face their actions without them trying to shut their mouths with the threat of being fired or docking their pay. It wasn't until 2009 when word got around of SpongeBob's upcoming anniversary that their prayers would finally be answered. On July 17, 2009, Nickelodeon hosted an event on their TV channel called The Ultimate SpongeBob Sponge Bash, which was created to celebrate 10 years since the series had aired. Along with 20 reruns, 12 brand new episodes of the show would premiere during this time, with episodes of SpongeBob even airing during Nick at Night hours. This marathon would start at 8 p.m. and last until July 19th. During this time, Armand and his co-workers were finally given a chance to speak up, a chance that wouldn't come again. The way they would vent their frustrations was by editing various episodes that were shown during the marathon. These edits would range from tame to almost disturbing in a way. Viewers, being kids and adults alike, would record multiple of these instances that happened as the marathon continued. The first 2 instances were tame, being the paper suddenly cutting to the next episode halfway through its runtime, and help wanted skipping 2 minutes forward after SpongeBob himself was introduced. These instances were assumed to be technical faults, as one of these occurrences resulted in a graphic card being placed on the screen, which read as follows. "It seems like the party's being crashed. Don't go away, we'll be back with more SpongeBob shortly." These glitches would only last 3 hours after the marathon had begun, with quality returning to normal for the next 21 hours. On the second day, Nick at Night's programming would switch to Nickelodeon as soon as dawn came, leaving one more day for the marathon to air. As the hours ticked by, viewers began to notice strange and almost disturbing alterations that would come every 4 to 5 episodes, almost like a pattern. The most notable occurrence was during the episode Valentine's Day, where the screen froze for around 11 seconds, before the frame cut to an altered version of itself. SpongeBob would shift his pupils to the camera, and shut his eyes. A few seconds later, he opened them back up. The sound of glass shattering played as he began to violently shake in place. SpongeBob's face had switched to one that made him look downright pissed off. His pupils had been replaced with small dots, and his teeth were tightly clenched to the point they were beginning to crack apart. Lastly, his eyes had visible veins showing through them, with his left eyelid twitching in random intervals. Fans of SpongeBob would turn to social media and fan forums after seeing these alterations, with most of them planning to contact corporate and explain what was going on. Most of the people who did this were either mailing them letters or shooting them emails. On the final day of the marathon, these alterations would happen 6 more times, with messages attempting to pop up on the screen before quickly being shut down by the aforementioned graphic card. After the final alteration, the screen would show text saying, "I won't be silenced any longer. It's time you all know the truth." A few seconds later, a voice would begin to speak, this voice belonging to none other than Armand himself. The full transcription of his speech reads as follows. "Good evening, everyone. Our identities are not important, nor will we reveal them. The only ones who will know us are our co-workers, our families, and the authorities. We are the people responsible for the numerous hijackings that have happened for the past 2 days. We aren't here to apologize for what we've done. We are here to spread a message to all of you watching. The channel your children keep their eyes peeled on belongs to a soulless, greedy corporation that doesn't care about anything but money filling their pockets. This show has gone on for way too long, and we know it's still running just for the purpose of money and control. We have been berated for even coming up with anything that doesn't have to do with this annoying cleaning utensil for long enough. Days and hours go by and they are never ever satisfied with the work we give them. They just spit in our tired faces and tell us to do better. Need we remind you that these people are grown adults acting like spoiled brats? It makes us sick to our stomachs. We've tried to speak up countless times in the past, but all they do is threaten lower our paychecks like they already aren't 6 feet under to begin with. We've had enough of staying silent. We are tired of working for this wretched place that they call an animation studio. We are ashamed to be working here. We are ashamed to share the same space as these revolting and horrid fucks who do nothing but sit on their ass and do nothing to care about how we feel. Some of us have kids to raise, but do they care? No, they don't. All they do is demand and demand like a broken record. Well, no more. Go ahead, cry us a river, see if we care. You're all a bunch of sick, disgusting and awful people. You are the reason art is the way it is currently. You are the reason this industry is slowly sinking to the bottom, and sooner or later, you won't be able to climb out of the hole you've dug yourself. The canvas has broken, and it's all your fault. Take this as a warning, Nickelodeon. This isn't just our departure from this hellhole, but a chance for you to get shit together. And if you still continue to keep this up, don't come crying to us when your audience leaves you with nothing. Good luck." After Armand's speech had concluded, the same graphic card mentioned previously would appear on screen yet again. Nickelodeon themselves would apologize for all that had gone down after the marathon concluded, but the damage was already done, as many people had turned away from the network after this incident. As for the people responsible for these hijackings, they were blacklisted from the animation industry and went on to find different occupations shortly after resigning. Armand, however, was a different case. Shortly after his speech, he had gone back into his workspace and began to treat it like a rage room, smashing several objects in the room into several pieces, along with breaking a single window near his desk. The only things to remain unscathed was the photo of his family, and a note. That note had an excerpt from the speech, and a drawing of an angry SpongeBob akin to the ones in the alterations. Armand was restrained and arrested outside the studio later that night. He was charged with computer tampering and property damage, sentenced to 4 years of probation, and was later fined $2,000 for the signal intrusions. Ironically enough, the quality in Nickelodeon's programming would decline as the years went on, which meant that they had ignored Armand's message altogether. Among the many marathons and events Nickelodeon has hosted over the years, the ultimate SpongeBob SpongeBash continues to stick out from all of them. Not just in popularity, but as an event Nickelodeon wishes they could scrape from history. Even today, many people still continue to speculate on Armand's whereabouts. Some say he's either reunited with his family or living in a private community somewhere, while others say that he could have possibly taken his own life due to all the build-up stress from Nick's mistreatment. And with the news of Nickelodeon airing SpongeBob 24/7 all summer long, only time will tell if Armand will emerge into the public again.